Now, Behind the Law with Justin Clark and Allie Mack on ESPN 580 Orlando.
And welcome to the program. It's another edition of Behind the Law right here on ESPN 580 Orlando. Thank you for spending your weeknights here with us on our favorite sports radio station. You can also watch the show live on Facebook or Instagram at Behind the Law Radio. Also, don't forget to watch the TV show. It's Behind the Law on television this Sunday. And every Sunday, 10 a.m. on TV 27. Allie Mack, thanks for ruining the show already, by the way. Welcome. How are you?
I didn't do anything.
I mean, how many times we do this
about?
show every day, actually 6 days a week, and you don't even remember to turn the volumes down on the laptop? Is that what happened?
I was using my volume earlier, so many apologies.
Hi, Allie Mack. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good to see you. Brianna is here to my right, the beautiful Brianna. Brianna, how's it going?
Awesome. How are you?
I'm well, except for I'm a little stressed out. My understanding is you're going to be out of town. Maybe, I don't know if I should say where you're going or not, but I have to actually now run the board on Friday and do all of this stuff by myself and actually try to have some content on this program.
I know.
How am I going to do all this?
I don't know, but
You're
I'm looking forward to
stressing him
watching
out.
you bomb.
Yeah, you're stressing him out, and then you're stressing me out.
I'll be watching from the plate. It's going to be
Gosh.
great.
We're going to do some news with Allie Mack. We'll also play Stump the Clark, your chance to win my money in the second half hour. And a very special guest will be joining us today. He's the clerk of court in Seminole County, doing a fantastic job up there in Sanford. Grant Malloy will join us as well. But without further ado, we got to figure out what's going on. Do you have any... Cross my fingers. Any updates on that guy from Empire or no? Just look, you don't have any updates?
No updates.
Oh my God.
No
What kind of
updates.
news is this without an update on Justin Smollett? But if you don't, that's fine. Maybe Brianna can pull something up.
If it's on the internet, she's talking about it. It's What's Going On with Allie Mack.
What's going on?
What's going on? Well, I don't have that news, Justin, but
You know how I was following that story. How dare
I know,
you?
But they don't have anything on him. Nothing
Okay,
new, I should
all right,
say.
whatever.
But what I do have is, have you ever thought about how much it would be to buy a state?
No.
No? Do you have like a ballpark, a range of... No?
I don't think they're for sale.
No, they're
I mean,
not?
you can buy Venezuela right now for not a whole lot of money, but other than that,
Well,
no.
there's an online petition calling for Montana to be sold to Canada to reduce the national debt.
Okay.
What do you think of that? So there's this Christian's Mom Against Private Education started a petition on change.org. And she wants, they're wanting to sell Canada for $1 trillion.
Wait, they're going to sell Canada or Montana to Canada?
Montana to Canada.
I just want to make sure I understood this. All right.
Montana to Canada for $1 trillion. Now, the national average debt, do you know how much it is?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's a lot.
$22 trillion.
Yeah.
They're proposing to sell Montana for $1 trillion, so it's really going to put a big dent on it.
I think I need to bring Grant Malloy in here right now, by the way. Grant, welcome to the show. Clerk of Court, Seminole County. You got to be involved in this. So selling a state, this is never going to happen, right? Come on.
Not Montana. We got to keep that one.
Montana.
You know, David Letterman is like rolling around right now, all mad
he's
at
over
you
there.
because he's a Montana man now.
Who
else?
In the original Articles of Confederation before the Constitution, there was a clause that Canada could join the United States at any point.
I did not know that.
They also had term limits on congressmen, too.
Oh, good. Great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Montana's not going anywhere. I mean, we'd have to change the flag. Think about it.
Exactly. Well, they have 7,500 signatures so far, and their goal is to hit 10,000 signatures.
Okay.
Like that's going to do anything.
Oh, jeez.
But so we'll hopefully we'll keep Montana, and it won't get sold.
But the idea of taking that drug guy's money and building the wall's not so bad, right?
Yeah, I think I'm all for that.
I'm cool with that.
And I'm all cool with
What's
that.
his name?
so-
El Chapo, right?
El Chapo.
El Chapo. But I was more confused about the name of the organization you said was sponsoring this.
It's called Christian Moms Against Private Education.
Okay, there's something. I think these people have issues. Yeah.
All these articles, by the way, are on our page if you
Okay.
want to.
At Behind the Law Radio.
Yeah. So Oregon lawmakers are also considering lowering the voting age from 18 to 16. Isn't that something? So you figure a 16-year-old can't enlist in the military. They're too young to own a firearm, too young to own property, or enter an illegal contract, but they want to change the law in order for them
Does
to
that
vote.
mean they come in for jury duty?
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, you've been through an election, Grant Malloy. What do you think? I mean, no way, right?
No way.
Yeah.
No.
No,
wants
that's
to, he
not
wants to
going to
raise it.
happen.
Yeah.
You want to raise it?
Yeah, I would just say, certainly not lower it.
Yeah. I don't think 16-year-olds should.
Do much of anything.
Yeah, I think at 16, for me at 16, I wasn't thinking anything,
Yeah, but it's funny, we let
or the state
them
of...
drive these death mobiles on I-4, though, at 16. No big deal, right?
Yeah, what is the driver's permit is 14 or 15?
Well, 15 learners.
And then you get your driver's license at 18.
16.
16.
Yeah, 16.
Oh, it's been a long time for me.
You're aging yourself.
I am aging myself. So, also in the news, frozen strawberries hid $13 million in meth at the Texas port.
This is
Ain't that
genius.
crazy?
I mean, really smart.
Ain't that
I mean,
crazy?
look, I'm not a drug dealer by any means, but I am saying it's smart.
It's smart. That's how you would do it too.
No, I wouldn't do it at all. I'm just saying it's genius.
Well, how can it be that genius? They got caught.
They got caught.
They've been
Point.
genius
That's
that they
true.
weren't caught.
Always bursting my bubble.
So apparently, the person that was bringing this in was a Mexican citizen carrying a shipment of them, and of course he was stopped by Border Patrol. And the article didn't really read much as far as you know, if he knew about it or not, but the article read as if he didn't know anything
I was just
about
thinking, do we have enough strawberries? And Grant, I know you're in your past life, you were a horticulturist. Do we have enough strawberries we could build a wall out of strawberries? I mean, now that's an idea.
Well, I think if you were going to be a genius and hide things, you ought to put it in frozen Brussels sprouts.
Why is
'Cause
that?
Brussels sprouts.
Well, the inspectors would not want to look into that at all, but a frozen strawberry, they're
that's
going to
true.
sample that.
That's
You
true.
know, a lot better.
Do they sample it? They don't sample it, do they?
We don't know.
Like,
We don't know what goes on
strawberries.
over there.
That's in the news today, and I have
Good
that's all the
job.
report.
It's Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark, Allie Mack, and the beautiful Brianna all joining you on a Wednesday evening. Thank you for spending your weeknights here with us. Very special guest to my right. He is your clerk of court up in Seminole County, Grant Malloy. Grant, how are you, sir? Thanks for
I'm
being
doing
here.
great. Thanks for having me on the show today.
People don't understand, I think, the difference in the people they send to Tallahassee versus the people that they send to work for them at the clerk's office or at the property appraiser's office or the tax collector's office. It's a very different position. Describe the difference.
It's very different. You know, years ago I was a county commissioner, and you know you have a board and you get your powers from the governor. But when it comes to the 5 constitutional officers, which are the sheriff, the clerk, the property appraiser, tax collector, supervisor of elections, we're all independent. We work directly for citizens in answer to you, and our powers come from the state constitution. So the clerk's office is fascinating. It might not sound exciting, but there's about 1,000 different things that we do. I call us the foundation, the basement of county government. We're the ones that hold everything up, and sure love to tell you more details about that.
Absolutely. And as someone who is there virtually every day, if not one of the lawyers in my firm is in Seminole County every single day, you're doing a fantastic job. No like BS here at all. You're doing a great job. I mean, the person that you took over for was a fantastic lady, but she had been there 20, how many years?
28 years.
28 years. So, I mean, it was, technology has changed immensely. I mean, what have you done since you've been there to really upgrade the clerk's office technologically?
Right. That was a high priority to me when I got in there. And you're right, Clerk Marion Morris was a solid clerk, but she's kind of from the old school. You know, she didn't take, one of the first things we changed was just payment method. She wouldn't take credit card or debit card. So we came in there. Now we do that. You know, Apple Pay, Google Pay,
Right.
online pay, phone pay, any way to make it more convenient. We've also put all our court records online, which was another thing that wasn't on there before. So we have one of the fastest search engines in the state to go on and look at court records. We also have a new recording official records software that's gone online to look for mortgages, deeds, those sort of things. So we've upgraded our case maintenance system. Just this month, we launched a new cashier system to get rid of a 2-line process when you come into the courthouse. One cashier, one process, shorter lines, makes it easier on our side as well. New jury duty check-in. When I got there, the lines were from the jury lounge all the way to the front door of the courthouse. I could not believe it.
Unbelievable.
You know, handwritten notes and highlighter pens and stuff. So we don't have lines that go beyond 8 people anymore. So there's more we're doing.
Doing a great job, and we'll talk plenty more about that. Also, where do you get your passport? If you need to upgrade your passport or need to get a new passport, or what about getting married? What do you really have to do? Where do you really have to go to get that marriage license?
I can answer those questions.
All of that right on the other side of this break. It is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Local and loud, Nicky football. Great show today. My name is Justin Clark. If you have any questions, 321-282-1055. You can watch the show live at Behind the Law Radio. Allie Mack is here to my left. Hi, Allie Mack.
Hello there.
Brianna is here to my right. Hi, Brianna.
Hi, Justin.
On your last day of the week. So do you want to talk about where you're going or no?
Sure.
All right, where are you headed?
I'm headed to Colorado.
Is this for some kind of like goody two-shoes thing? You're always with these events and things. Or is this a real vacation? You deserve a real vacation, not helping others out. Help yourself for a minute.
It's my best friend's wedding, so
Okay, good.
I'm going to help her by being a
you go.
bridesmaid. That's nice.
Brianna's involved in every group in town, I think. She's like the guest speaker here, for these kids there. I mean, it's a really admirable thing. It really is. I'm just saying, you need a little Brianna time, I think. Don't you, Allie Mack?
Exactly. I don't need a little Brianna time. I need a little me time. But
Yeah.
my question to you, Brianna, Colorado, are you going to sample some of the local
Herbs.
herbs?
Leave it to Allie Mack to ask about the weed
Yeah,
question.
Right. She's,
I didn't want to.
Let's just
I
get
didn't
it
know if
right
I
out
could
in the
say
open.
gotta
that.
smoke.
Okay. You gonna do the CBDs?
No, I don't think I'll find time to do that.
Here's
No?
an interesting.
Okay. I
interesting
was just asking.
You ask for a friend?
when you leave the airports out there, there's a place you can dispense
Right.
the what stuff you didn't use.
That's right.
Really?
Oh, yes. Very
and
much so.
they're always empty.
People who get rid of them in their rental car before they drop them off, of course. Grant Malloy is here. He is the Seminole County Clerk and Comptroller, I guess. I always forget to say that.
Yes, it's an important
Okay.
part. We
It
have
is
all the
very-
tax dollars of the people of Seminole County.
Hey, let me ask you this question. This is one you probably get a lot. I think people, especially with the first time they're going to go on an overseas trip, they've never had to get a passport before. They really don't know what to do. Is that something that Seminole County residents can actually do through your office?
Oh, they most definitely can. I'm glad you asked that question. But we are approved passport facility. We do that with the State Department. And at 1750 East Lake Mary Boulevard is our Clerk of Court Records Center, and that's where we have the passport processing. It's all laid out on our website, seminolclerk.org, the fees, what you need to bring in, and you really have to have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted, because it is a very precise thing you have to go through. And our clerks do a great job. In fact, at the end of our first year collecting them, we collected over 4,000 or processed over 4,000. We scored 100%
Wow.
on our audit from the State Department. We get audited annually for doing that. So it was a really great job. We do passport photos there too, and we do them cheaper than some of the competition.
Walgreens, CVS.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Good to know. I need to get my
But-
passport.
But in these passport photos too, you might not like this. You can't smile.
You have to
can't
show
wear
just
glasses.
your ear.
Yeah.
Can you make my face look skinnier by chance? Because it seems like every piece of pizza I have goes right to my cheeks.
All passport photos look terrible. Okay. They're worse than driver's license.
but let's be dead serious about it for a second. Make sure you go to that website first and bring all of the documents, because this is not one of those deals where, oh, you don't have the second form of ID. Can you just see my credit card? Is that fine? No, it doesn't work like that, does it, Grant?
It does not work like that. And also, beware of the hours, because we have to get these everything secured, and we have to get them to the post office at a certain time. So we usually cut off passports around 3:30 and about 2:30 on Friday, so we can make sure we get those processed properly and get them to the post office as we're supposed to, because we don't want to hold these more than one day. We don't want to hold them over the weekend.
Yep.
So it's a very precise thing. Simulclerk.org, and we're happy to take care of you. So just let me know when you're coming.
And again,
Sounds good.
Get you right in.
Which,
Thank you.
but there is one particular location to go to, and it'll show you on simulclerk.org, of course, but which location is it one more time?
It's the Record Center on Lake Mary Boulevard towards the Sanford Airport. It's also a walk-in. It's the only place in Seminole County you can walk in and get a passport. There's a couple post offices do it, but you have to make an appointment like 2 months in
Got
the
it.
future.
All right, let's get to marriage license for a minute. You're listening to Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Marriage licenses. Do I just need to go call a preacher, bring him over to my house, and I'm good? Or how do I really get married?
Well, that's a great question.
Are you asking for a friend?
Yeah.
Well, there is a process to that as well.
Okay.
We do marriage licenses. We do them at 3 locations. We do them at both of the branches, Castleberry and Altamont Springs, and we also do it at the Civil Courthouse in Sanford by the lake. Eventually, I want to do them over at the other courthouse as well, but we haven't gotten there yet. The one over by Sanford, too, has a very, very nice, attractive, what do you call it? Like, not sanctuary, but...
Chapel?
There
Chapel,
you
that's
go.
it. Thank you. And the clerks there decorated beautifully. It's well used, and that is an extra $30. We also brought in where we'll do a videotape and photos for you, and a special certificate for like another $15 or something.
Right.
So we're always trying to bring value to it. We're thinking of live streaming. That's our next thing, like in Vegas. So we want to be able to do that. So those licenses are about $85. There's a discount if you take the marriage class. Bear in mind, there's a 3-day waiting period. It's like buying a gun, okay? So if you come in and you apply for a marriage license, you have to wait 3 days to get married unless that gets cleared by a judge. A judge can override that. So,
Wow,
but
so
we're
you
happy to
have
take
3
care of
days
you.
to change your mind.
We do over 3,000 marriage licenses a year, and was very busy recently because it was Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. So once you do get the license, is there a time limit on between the time you have to actually get married?
There is. There's a 60-day time limit, and then it expires. So once you get the license, you have the service done, or you can do it at our place. And then once it's completed, it's certified, sent back to us, and we record that in our official records and then mail it back to you, and you have your official marriage.
You know, a lot of people listening are listening up where I live in Seminole County as well, and they might have gotten a notice for jury duty. Seminole County is a little different than a lot of counties in Florida in that we have 2 very distinct courthouses. Most of the civil stuff is over on the lake there in Sanford, and then the criminal stuff down 1792. Is that typical, or is this sort of abnormal in Seminole County?
There are some. I think Volusia County has, I believe, two courthouses.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think so.
Brevard had 2 or 3. So it is. It's around. It happens around the state. Orange County just has the one big one, and there's some branches like a traffic court in Winter
Right.
Park. But it does make it much tougher to manage the office when you have civil at one and criminal at the other, and you have your staff split. Because we call jury duty to both of them, and then that gets confusing to citizens
Sure.
sometimes who think, "Oh, I go to this one," and when you're supposed to go to the other one. So we try to be very clear with that in our summons and with our information on our website. But it's a lot to manage.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to get to. So if I'm a resident of Seminole County and I get the notice for jury duty, how do I know which courthouse I'm really going to?
It'll say that. We also put it on our website, so there's a phone number you call in to find out. What we do in the beginning of the week, we'll call a whole bunch, or we do that a month ahead of time.
Right.
As it gets closer, we get to know what the judges want, and then we know which numbers to call in. So the Friday before that Monday, that's when you can call us, or over that weekend, and you'll have a letter and a number. It might say A5. Well, if you're an A, you're most likely going to get called in. If you're a Q or something further down the line, you might not get called in. But depending on the trials, Last week we had about 140 at criminal, 100,
Ooh.
100 at
Trials?
civil.
Wow.
Well, no.
Okay.
Juries.
Oh, okay.
Jurors,
I got you.
I'm sorry. No, not that many
I
trials.
was like, wow.
No. So there are about 240 jurors called all together. at
Okay,
both
understood,
courthouses.
yeah.
Sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's higher. If you have a capital murder case or
Sure.
something, it is a lot of people coming in.
Yeah, it's really quite unbelievable. What would your recommendation be? Someone who's thinking right now they got jury duty and I got to work. I'm just not going to show up. What do you think about that?
Well, you'll get a letter from one of the judges,
Yeah.
and they'll ask you for why you weren't there, and they'll reschedule you. And then if you don't respond to that, and it does occur occasionally, the judge can call you in to appear before them in court. So it's best just to follow the rules. And it's an important thing. The trial by jury is an important part of our law here, and it gives that checks and balances over the government.
Right.
And, and a lot of people don't realize, too, you would know this, as a capital case or eminent domain case, it's a jury that's twice as big.
Right.
There's a higher level of standard to take your property or your life.
Absolutely
so
right.
it's a very important thing. Most people don't complain too much, but we do get some folks that are not happy.
When was the last time you, Justin,
Jury duty?
went to jury
I was
duty?
still in Boston. Actually, it was federal case, and when you get selected or at least sent in for jury duty in a federal case for a grand jury, if you were selected, you have to go like every day for a month or 2 months or a year or something like that.
Seminole County has a great process because you just show up on Monday.
Yeah.
For the most part. Occasionally, you might go to Tuesday, but they'll select all juries in one day, and
Right.
then they'll schedule you to come back when
That's
it's
great.
convenient. So like when I did it in Seminole County years and years ago, you had to come every day of the week, and that doesn't happen anymore. So it's a lot easier. And we do grand juries as well, about twice a year.
Got it.
So it's we call about 34,000 people. Not all of them are called into the courthouse, but it's a big process to
Right.
make that happen. And it's working a lot better. We have a new check-in system. We have another one that's coming that's going to have online check-in. You'll be able to just wave your summons under a scanner like at an airport.
Nice.
So that's going to be a lot better. And you can make as much as $15 to $30 a day.
A day?
What's
Yes,
up with
yes.
that?
You could
Yeah.
almost get Chick-fil-A with that.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I'm going to get the 9-piece, not the 6-piece on my way home from that one. No doubt about it. All right, we got plenty more ahead. His name is Grant Malloy, clerk of court up in Seminole County. Very important guy, very, very important job. He's going to give you a lot of advice on how to get married, how to get your passport, how to necessarily not get in trouble showing up at that jury duty. We'll also play a quick game with him. It's Stump the Clarkie. Allie Mack, I didn't forget. Allie Mack got her first victory yesterday in
Oh,
Stump
I
the
did.
Clarkie, right?
Yes. Thank you
Is it
so
going
much.
to be 2 in a row? If you want to play along at home right now, go to @Behind the Law Radio. We'll play Stump the Clarkie right on the other side of this break. It is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
It's my favorite.
Is that Peruvian or what?
It's not Peruvian.
I just assume everything's Peruvian in this office anymore. 321-282-1055. Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. My name is Justin Clark. Allie Mack is to my left. Hello, Allie Mack.
Hello there.
The beautiful Brianna is here to my right. Brianna, how are you?
Awesome. How are you, Justin?
I'm always forgetting to start the clock. I think we should just turn this job over to you. I'm terrible at this, right?
Yeah.
We know we have to do segments. We have commercial breaks. We have to get to it. I can't keep up with this clock anymore. It's terrible.
We
Am
should
I
have
just
a clock
dumb?
that we just hit it once you
You
start.
think that's what we should do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Definitely.
I guess so.
Instead of doing it that way.
Watch the
Be
show
easier.
at Behind the Law Radio. Also, don't forget, watch the TV show. It's Behind the Law on TV this Sunday and every Sunday, TV 27, 10 a.m. New show is going to be starting soon. I'm going to be telling you about that. Allie Mack, we're going to be on TV a little bit more. If you're okay with that.
Oh, yes. I got to get my hair did, my nails did.
Yeah, I need to stop eating so much, probably. TV, I'm a little chubby enough, and then the TV, like another 15 pounds. Everyone walks in my office, they say the same thing every time. Oh, you're more handsome in person. Did you lose some weight? And I'm like, I don't know if this is a good thing or bad thing, but they say the same thing to me every day, all day.
Aw.
Right?
Sorry about that.
no.
But yeah, I do notice that on TV you do look a little bit more.
See, even she's doing it.
I think that's probably why
I thought we were friends.
You go like this with your... What?
Like that? Whatever. Grant Malloy is here. He is the clerk of court and comptroller in Seminole County. Grant, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
And we're going to play this little game here in a minute where it's just a dumb trivia game, right? A chance to win my money. So normally Brianna likes to see me lose, so she'll almost always choose a category that you're going to know something about.
Okay.
And I would think that today is probably no different. I don't know what the category is, but ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Stump the Clarky.
All right, and now it's time for Stop the Clarky. Come on, Clarky. We need you to get over here. We got some great trivia questions we want you to answer. Come on, Clarky. Get over here.
Thank you, Fulton Alum. Brianna, what is the category today?
Well, naturally, it's going to be about the courts.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, at least I'm a lawyer. I mean, I might have some sort
You
of
have a
insight.
fighting chance.
Okay. I've lost 2 times now, I believe.
Yeah.
This year I've lost 2 times. I think I'm not feeling so hot today on this. So
Good.
Grant Malloy is probably going to take me down. Allie Mack took me down yesterday in a resounding fashion.
She did.
Let's get right to the game. Question number 1, Brianna.
Question number 1. What year were the United States Circuit Courts established?
Good golly.
What year were the United States Circuit Courts established?
Why do I not sense Allie Mack getting 2 victories in a row? I don't know. All right, the Circuit Courts of the United States of America were established in, let's see about, all right.
Interesting choice.
Why, don't look at my answers and then make fun of me and make me question myself. Question number 2, Stump the Clarky, ESPN 580 Orlando. Brianna, go ahead.
William Howard Taft is the only person to have served as both U.S. president and in the courts. But what number president was he?
Was he the guy in the bathtub, Grant? No? He was the guy in the bathtub that died in the bathtub or something? Was he the bigger, heavier set?
No, that was Henry Harrison was the shortest. I mean, he was the shortest surviving one because he did that 3-hour speech in the rain and got a cold.
Yeah, he did.
Died 2 months later.
So
the question was,
what president was
what
William
number was he?
Howard
Taft?
Jeez. I'm going to have to go back to sophomore year
Everyone's
right
saying,
now.
ooh.
Sophomore year of high school.
You know that song that says all the presidents?
No, I didn't learn that.
I can't remember the whole thing.
I do know
I don't
30
remember.
Days has November, April, something like that.
There's
But
a song that...
That's about the only one I
Song
know.
for everything, guys.
Yeah, I guess so.
Too bad we can't remember the
There's
songs.
an app
All
for
right.
it, too.
So what was the question one more time? You're playing along at home, I hope, and go to Behind the Law Radio. You can enter your answers right there as well for a chance to win. Brianna, question 2, what was it?
What number president was William Howard Taft?
All right. Question number 3 for a Wednesday night on Behind the Law.
Benjamin Bourne was one of the first circuit
No
court
relation to Jason Bourne.
No relation to Jason Bourne, yes. Was one of the first circuit court judges appointed by John Adams. How many years ago was that? Here's a kicker. He was appointed today. X amount of years ago.
Okay.
All right.
It makes me want to change my first answer.
Looking at the look of puzzles.
But I won't.
All over the place. Everyone
I
looks.
won't. All right, a final question on a very difficult edition for me
Yeah.
of Stump the Clarky. Question 4, Brianna, go ahead.
Question number 4. George Washington appointed the most justices in the court. How many judges did he appoint? George Washington appointed the most justices in the court. How many judges did he appoint?
I mean, this is pretty much an all-guest edition of Behind the Horn Stump the Clarky for me today, but
This is
that's
pretty
all right.
exciting.
We'll score the game. Grant Malloy joins us today, Seminole County Clerk of Court. All right, Brianna, what was question number 1?
Question number 1. What year were the United States Circuit Courts established?
Grant Malloy will go with you here first. What did you say?
I said 1887.
1887. Pretty good answer because it's close to mine, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Allie Mack, where did you have?
1762.
1762. I went.
Oh, I meant 1787.
I went with 1878. Brianna, what's the right answer?
It's 1789.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
I meant to say 1787.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
What do you think? I think.
but no, I got it wrong.
Did we
That's way
tie?
off.
Did we
That's the way to go.
Again?
I mean, technically, we
Great
would've got-
answer. That's the way to go. That's the way to go.
That would be 1 to Allie Mack, who's a social media expert, 0 Grant Malloy, who's clerk of court, and 0 Justin Clark, who's a lawyer. You're up. You're up.
Yay,
1-0-0.
Allie.
Very happy and proud of you so far. Question number 2, Brianna.
William Howard Taft, the only person to have served as both U.S. president and on the courts.
Allie Mack, let's go with you first on this. What did you say?
22nd?
22. Sounds
22.
pretty good. Justin
Okay.
Clark goes with 18th.
18th
And
president?
Grant Malloy, your clerk of court. What do
I
you have?
said 19.
19.
19.
What is the right answer, Brianna?
He is our 27th president,
Allie
Allie Mack.
Oh, geez.
Yay! Look at you. We might get
This
2 in a
is-
row.
This is really shocking, Grant. You're on a very special occasion today.
This might be a thing.
This could be 2 in a row for Allie
How much
Mack.
money does she win?
It's probably,
I win nothing.
Well, yesterday,
Water
This is
bottles.
what I win.
yesterday she won a water bottle with my face on
Water
it.
bottles.
All right, question number 3. Good job, Allie Mack, so far. Question number 3, Brianna.
How many years ago was Benjamin Bourne appointed first circuit judge?
All right, I'll go first on this one. I said 202 years.
202 years ago.
Grant Malloy, what did you have?
I said 224.
224.
220.
Allie Mack.
I didn't have anything.
Well, you're up 2-0, so it's not that big of a deal. So,
She said okay.
So, what is the right answer?
218 years.
Oh, that is a Grant Malloy win. I'm definitely going down
right.
again. Wow,
Oh,
good job.
no.
Great answer. That's the way to go. That's the way to go.
Thank you.
So I'm guaranteed defeat now for 2 days in a row. Oh, this is going to be my first ever losing streak. I'm not really
Man.
happy about this, but I'm glad to see you guys succeed.
It's a going away
Question
present.
number 4. Going into question number 4, it is 2 for Allie Mack, 1 for Grant Malloy. Question 4, Allie Mack. Brianna, what do you have?
Judge Washington appointed the most justices in the court. How many judges did he appoint?
Grant Malloy, what do you think?
I said 9.
9.
Nine?
Pretty good
Okay.
answer. Allie
I
Mack,
said 50.
50.
50.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
That's
too
a
much.
lot.
Why do I sense a tie coming
That's
on? I
too
went with
much.
12. Can I get off the
And he appointed 11.
11?
that was my
Finally.
Go
good.
ahead, Justin.
I still lose.
Great answer. That's the way to
today.
go. That's the way to go.
So that is a tie, you two, right?
No, I only got 1.
You only got 1? You won again?
I won again.
Yay!
Good job, Allie Mack. That is 2 victories in a row on
And I
Stump
didn't
the
even answer number 3.
That's how confident she is.
This is really shocking and quite unbelievable. But,
Is it shocking?
Well, it's shocking because I'm a lawyer. Grant is the clerk of court for Seminole County. We did all questions about court.
Federal.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Federal court. I don't know.
And Allie Mack takes the win. Allie Mack, I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
thank you for playing at home, Stump
You
the
could ask
Clerk.
how many circuit and county judges there are in Seminole County. I
Next
know
time,
that.
you got to come back.
Okay, folks, thank you
do
so
that.
much for being with us. Clarky, let's get out of here, buddy. My stomach thinks my throat's cut. I'm starving.
We have one final segment ahead with Grant Malloy, clerk of court in Seminole County, right on the other side of this break. Stick around. We'll be right back on Behind the Law.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
One final segment ahead, Behind the Law, for a Wednesday night. Thank you for spending your evenings here with us on ESPN 580 Orlando. Allie Max to my left. The beautiful Brianna is to my right. Joined today by your Seminole County Clerk of Court and Comptroller, Grant Malloy. Grant, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending time with us tonight.
My pleasure.
So let me ask you a couple questions, first of all, because, there's a lot of things now, especially with the internet. There are some things that I think we can do without having to go out and spend $2,500 or $5,000 on a lawyer, right? I mean, I want people. I'm a lawyer. I make money off of people needing to hire me for services. But if it's something that you can do without me, I support that. I'm all for it. I mean, what are some things that you see people come into the courthouse to do, pro se as we call it, without a lawyer?
Right. All day long, mainly at the civil courthouse is where we handle a lot of that. It's everything from small claims cases to evictions. We have a lot of people that come in there for things such as restraining orders, Marchman acts for forced drug treatment of a loved one that you see is spiraling out of control, Baker Act, similar situation for mental illness. And we're trying to do more on our website and plan to do more in the future with having forms available. The Seminole County Legal Law Library is right next door to the civil courthouse, and they have a lot of forms there. Orange County Clerks has done something really innovative. They have that self-help center on, I think it's the second floor there, where there's an attorney. You can pay like $1 a minute to talk to, as well as you have clerk staff to help you. We have to be careful because we're not attorneys. We can't give legal advice, but we are the people's access to the court system. And if they have some issues or questions, give us a call. Go on our website, get the location. We're happy to talk with you and walk you through the process. It can be very intimidating if you've never done it before.
I want to talk about domestic violence in a minute, too, because I'm always worried about people who are afraid to leave the house and feel like they have no support. But first, how do you feel generally about Seminole County's leadership? Let me tell you how I feel first, okay? Having you there has been a blessing for us as practicing attorneys. You're doing a great job. Really, you are. And then we have a sheriff like Dennis Lima, who's just fantastic. And then I've got Joel Greenberg, who I know some people don't like him because he's, talks. He's not afraid to speak his mind. I love the guy. We really have a diverse bunch of leaders in Seminole County. How do you feel about the future of Seminole County?
Very good. And the new board's been a lot easier to work with, and that's very helpful because we're here to help people, not here to get in political fights.
Right.
So I get along great with the constitutional officers, with the judges, and my main thing is if there's a problem, how do we fix it and how do we help citizens out? Exactly. So I think the future is really bright with what's going on in Seminole County.
Good. And I totally agree, and you're doing a great job again. Let's say that I'm the victim of domestic violence. I'm afraid to come home sometimes because my husband or wife sometimes, what we found out is that victims of domestic violence are not just women, right? I think it's something like 40% are men. Yeah. But, I don't want to call the police, but I feel like I have nowhere to go. How can the clerk's office help me out when it comes to getting an order of protection or injunction or just help?
Right. We created a new domestic violence service center that's at the civil courthouse at 301 North Park Avenue in Sanford. And there we worked with the sheriff's office, the judges, and with Safe House of Seminole County, which is the domestic violence shelter. Right. And they can provide a lot of services we can't. We co-located them right next to our injunction clerks. It's a great partnership. And you're correct. If people are in an abusive relationship, it can be very scary because often you don't have access to money. You've been isolated from your family. You might have a pet, young children. And the good news is there are resources available to take care of all that. So if you get with our injunction office or with Safe House next door to us, they can put you in an emergency shelter, provide legal help in some instances, and get you to a safe place. Yeah. And I visited their facility. It's very nice as well. They have places for kitchens, private rooms, that sort of thing. It's a nice environment that if you're in an abusive relationship, there's help to get out. And there's a lot of resources online. There's a staffed phone number, toll-free, statewide. So if you're having a problem, there are resources for you to help you out of that.
Gotcha. It's Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. I'm always fascinated, Grant, with how the money really flows in a county. When it comes to federal budgets and things, we understand that we pay our tax dollars through a tax return and the government takes our money and that's how they provide federal services. But in a local county, like Seminole County, for instance, of course, I know that I own real estate there and I have to pay property taxes. I know that I bought a new car and I have to pay for this tag. And then I have to go to the tax collector's office and I actually stroke them a check. And then I get this piece of paper from the property appraiser who tells me how much my house is worth. But how does the money really flow in the county?
That's a great question, Justin. And there are a lot of checks and balances in county government. County government's really unique. We're a subdivision of the state. And the way it works is the county commission can set the tax rates and they can figure out what the expenditures are going to be. However, it's going to be the clerk of the court and comptroller that writes the checks and verifies that all that was done correctly. And we keep all the money. So we're the protector of the public money. We have auditors. We look for waste, fraud, and abuse. We have a 1-800 fraud line you can call in anonymously or report on our website if you see government waste in Seminole County. But the tax collector, Joel Greenberg, collects the money. He sends it directly to us. And the property appraiser sets the tax rates. He sets the tax value of your property. So all this power is divided up, and nobody's sitting on it all at once, where you could, as the old saying is, absolute power corrupts absolutely. County government's really unique. Nobody can make all the decisions, and we all answer to the public. So there's a system of checks and balances I believe is very important. And the people voted for Amendment 10 that protected that at the county level, because in some counties where they've gotten rid of those checks and balances, you have less accountability and usually much bigger government too.
I think a lot of people think an office like yours, or even the sheriff or tax collector, is an appointed thing. Like, the governor rolls down here and appoints you guys. I mean, you really have to run for this office, don't you?
It's an elected office. Yeah. Yes, it's a 4-year term. So we have to run every 4 years.
I always, have a lot of good friends who have run for office. I think you know Scott Sturge. We've been through so many campaigns with friends of mine, especially in Seminole County, and it's a lot of work, Grant. I mean, tell the audience who maybe some of them are thinking about running for a county commissioner job, a school board job, a water zone, whatever. All of these elected offices that are out there. Tell them what it's really like to run for office.
Well, first of all, the state of Florida has some of the hardest ballot access laws in the country to get on the ballot. And a lot of people don't realize that if, for instance, if you're running for Congress, like Scott Sturgill did, it's about a $10,500 check you have to write just to get your name on the ballot. It's tougher to get on the ballot running for clerk of the court in Seminole than it is running for governor of California.
Wow.
So it's very, very difficult. Wow. And I think it needs to be easier to run. I think you need more competition. So, but it's quite a process. There's a filing process. You have to qualify either by a filing fee or petitions collected to get on the ballot. It's a mixed bag. It takes a lot of time, but I really like hearing people, connecting with people, seeing what their concerns are, and seeing how we can help them. So you have to be somebody that really likes to go out and talk to people and communicate. I found it a fascinating thing. You meet people from all walks of life, and one of my most interesting stories was Ben Wheeler was telling about his grandfather when I first ran for commission, how he rode a horse from Oviedo to Orlando because he was an Orange County commissioner back when Orange and Seminole were together, and stay in a hotel overnight in Orlando before he'd come back to Oviedo the next day. And I thought, that is just fascinating, the history here. So you meet a lot of interesting people.
How many employees do you oversee there at the clerk's office?
We have currently 205. We're at 7 locations. We have 2 branches. We have 2 courthouses. The juvenile courthouse is another separate building. We have the records center, and our comptroller office is located in the county services building on the 2nd floor. So 7 locations makes it hard to manage. I try to spend time in each one.
Right. When you have that many employees, how do you really go around and sort of show your appreciation for all of them? And that's a lot of people.
Yep. No, I do it every day.
Yeah.
I think I know most of them by name. And we're having we do an annual picnic now. We try to, reward people, let them know we're doing a great job. And we had an email from a customer the other day was happy to pay a traffic citation because our clerk
was
so helpful and friendly. And he goes, you probably never heard that before.
No, first time, actually.
And so we have great clerks that really care about people.
Good job.
It's a great job.
Yeah, keep up the good work over there. What was the biggest objections you were hearing when you were running for office as clerk of court? What were people complaining about?
Well, technology, access to information, inability to use credit cards was a lot of what I heard. So those were things we tackled really quickly and solved.
Doing a great job.
We got more great things coming along.
Keep up the good work.
Well, let me plug the website, SeminoleClerk.org.
Grant Malloy is your clerk of court and comptroller in Seminole County. Allie Mack, good job today.
Thank you.
Brianna, I hope you have a fantastic vacation in Colorado. Stay away from those gummy bears, if you will.
Yeah. Bring us something back.
Bring Allie Mack something back. Allie Mack, I don't know much, but I do know one little thing.
What's that?
I will see you right back here on Friday evening on ESPN 580 Orlando.